Well, I told you I would give you a video for chicken stock. This is a recipe I usually follow, but you can really do anything you need to do. So I ended up having to add, I didn't have any celery, so I ended up adding just like a pinch of celery seed just to give it the taste. I also had some carrots to add in, and yes, that's the skin of the onion right there. If you want white or clear like water chicken broth, then you just put regular onions in and stuff. But if you want that nice yellow tint, that is actually from the skins of your onions. So it gives it, I don't know if you can see it, it gives it that nice yellow tint. I also had some spinach that was starting to go bad, so I threw in some spinach, and all of the carcasses, that's all of these, they were all in there. Boiled them until they were starting to fall apart, pulled them all out. Now I've just been letting this sit. We have some bay leaves. I add a little bit of salt, carrots, onions. Like I said, I had some spinach, so I threw that in there. I got like 4 bay leaves in there, and a little bit of rosemary I like, so, and a little bit of garlic powder, because I like it a little on the garlic side, but not real strong. So that has been simmering in our huge pot, and it's about ready to go into the pressure canner. So I got the pressure canner out. We got some water in there. It's about 3 inches of water. Got my plate down in there. My other lid sitting over here ready to go. Yep, this is my $15 All-American canner I'm using. And I gotta go I'm gonna get some jars together, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna use, if I'm gonna use quarts or pints, or I might do a mix depending on like the recipe that I'm using. I also added in to our water in the canner some vinegar. You want to put some vinegar in, definitely, if you're going to do chicken broth, because if any chicken broth were to come up out of the jar, it makes a big old mess on the outside of the jar. So make sure you have some vinegar in there. It keeps your jars nice and clean and clear and everything. And let me get some jars together and I'll be back. So I got my ring, or my lids and my rings. I gotta grab some up from down here. I keep them all right there, and all it is a piece of string, and it's tied up onto a screw right there, and it just allows them to keep them out of the way. They're still accessible. When I take them off of jars, it's easy to put them on, but so we got all of that. I am going to want to strain this down a little bit. I'm also going to end up looking at it to see how strong it is and stuff, so I'm going to end up having to taste it. There's not much salt in it, so if you want to taste it, you have to add a little bit of salt to it and give it a taste to see how strong it is. If it's real strong, add some more water to it. But anyways, one thing I wanted to mention, I put some jars in. I'm going to turn on the oven. I put them in the oven. Let's get the oven on. Bake. And whoa, we're going to go all the way down as far as it will go. 170, and that's fine. Hit start. So the jars are going to heat up, and the only time that you really need to do that is if you're going to put in some hot liquid. Since I'm doing chicken broth, of course it is boiling hot. Do not add it to a cold jar, it will bust the jar. So we have some jars in there. I was going through, my dad got me some jars. Told you in the last video I got a whole bunch of, I got 6 cases of jars for $5, and then they added in the whole, put these off to the side. And these are nice jars. I got some, there's some different ones I haven't seen. This one's Genuine Mason. I haven't seen that one before. And this one is Brockway Clearview Mason. So that one's really cool. And of course your balls. I got all the different types of balls. Here's a ball. That's an old one. It doesn't have the trademark on it. And if you look at this one, you see it has the trademark right there, the R. So some of them pretty old. Let's see what we got here. I got a Golden Harvest Mason. I got 2 of those. I got an Atlas Mason. So Hazel Atlas made that. And then some of the ones I put in here, which are really cool. I love these ones. Let's see what I can, is the Atlas Strong Shoulder Mason. I love these jars. These are so nice. And those were added into it as well. But we're going to let those heat up. Let's go into my goodie bag. My dad, as I was mentioning, he went to a yard sale. Well, let's go back because in case you missed the last video. He went to a yard sale. He loves going to yard sales. Anyways, he knows I can, so he always looks for canning stuff for me. But he ended up getting this All-American pressure canner with this, and it has the actual dowel that sits on top and you see what they had on it, $20. But he didn't get it for $20. He asked if they'd take $15, and they said sure, so I got it for $15. And then yesterday my dad got me 6 cases of jars for $5. Not $5 each, $5 for all. And as he was leaving, they gave him this great big thing. He said, here, this goes with it. And in here was just loaded with stuff. So I have funnels, I have basket, I have some pectin, I have some pickle stuff. I'm going to use the little magnet. It has 2 magnets in it. It came with 3 brand new jar lifters, and there's 2 racks down in here for the canner. They're brand new. This is all brand new. Even the canner looks brand new. There's nothing on it. So that's some of the stuff I'm going to be using. And it also came, and this is what I didn't have, which is really cool, this has a couple different things, options for it. So one thing it does is when you're using liquid or you're packing pickles or something like that in liquid, so you're packing something in liquid, you put this down in the jar and you put it up and down in the jar, and it takes all the air bubbles out. The other thing it's so good for is on here, and I'm going to see if I can get it to focus. Might not be able to focus. Oh, there we go, a little bit. Anyways, on the edges of these, it is set to 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch. So what you do, and I'm going to use this as an example, and that's for your headspace. So if I put this down on the 3/4 inch or the 1/2 inch, it will tell me, hey, that's 1/2 inch and that's the headspace you need to keep. So that on certain products, you need to really make sure that the headspace is correct. You also really need to make sure the headspace is correct when you are using a pressure canner. So you cannot let it go way up. So for us on a pressure canner, I usually keep at least 1 inch headspace. So I will be using on this the very top one. So I will put the jar right on this top one, and that will be my 1 inch, and making sure that I don't go over that. So for a pressure canner, if you've never pressure canned before, you don't need a whole lot of water. So here, this one's starting to boil, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this down. And this is going to just use the steam and pressure can it, and it actually brings it up to about 240 degrees. So this is why you pressure can. You do not have to pressure can everything. Anything that's acidic, apples, applesauce, tomatoes, even tomato sauce, you know, you can add a little bit of lemon juice to tomato sauce or spaghetti sauce, and it will make it acidic enough. You can actually just water bath. Anything that is non-acidic, which is any meats, most of your vegetables are non-acidic. The only vegetable that I know of that is a tomato, and that's actually on the borderline. So that is why if you do spaghetti sauce and you're adding peppers and everything else to it, you've actually brought down the acidity. So you can either pressure can it, or you can add a little bit of lemon juice to your sauce, and it will bring the acidity back up to be able to be water bathed. So in our case, chicken stock is not acidic at all, so we have to pressure can. So that's what we are going to get ready to do. All right, well, we are just about ready. So I'm going to want to strain this. So I have a nice fine mesh strainer, and I will put that inside of my funnel from my jars, and that way it'll strain it. And then when I'm done with the jar, I have a cup here that I can just go like that and get that out. All of these vegetables and stuff are going to go to the pig or the chickens. This has already come up to boil and everything, so now I just have it down. It's still very, very hot, and it's getting ready to, it's right on the verge of boiling, so I don't want to take it to boiling, because otherwise all my water would be evaporated before we're all done. Got my rings down, we're ready to go. Got an old washcloth, clean old washcloth, it's clean. And that's to wipe the rims. This we used to actually put the jars on. So the way I usually do it is I pull a jar out, I fill it, I put the jar over here. He then sits there and puts a lid on it, puts a cap on it, and he moves it over to here. Well, he wipes the lid, wipes the rim, then puts a lid on it, puts a cap on it, and then moves it into the canner. Just a couple things, as you know, that these are new countertops. They're not even done yet. They still have to be stained. This is all pine. We just got these. My husband did these ones, when was it? Tuesday? A couple days ago. So, and this is for anybody who has Formica countertops. Do not put anything hot right on top of the countertop, because it is a glue, and you will actually loosen the glue, and it can actually bubble and stuff like that. So don't ever do that. Just giving you a word of wise. All right. So I'm going to hand this over to you here, honey.
What am I doing?
You're just going to just show the process. So I'm going to pull a jar out, stick the jar on top, put this over here. You want to come over here so they can see. I like to kind of move this a little bit closer. And this is kind of like the wrong direction under. There we go. Now, because the jars are already hot, I don't have to worry about them breaking. our canner can hold 7 quarts. So I'm going to do 7 quarts and then see what I have left. And then we'll do the pints. Now this is where I'm a little bit, I don't know for sure where 1 inch is. So as you see, I'm not even close yet. I could use a little bit more. And I'll only do this like once or twice. I think that might be more than what I need. And I could add maybe just a tiny bit more. And it don't matter if you're less than your inch, but you definitely don't want to be more than your inch. So that's pretty much where I'm at. I'm now going to look to see where my line is on the jar, and that's where I'm going to want it to be for now on. So now I take my jar, I lift it up, I put it over here. Look at that nice golden yellow. He wipes the rim to make sure it's nice and clean and dry. Puts a lid on. Yes, I know you do not have to put them in hot water, but I do. I like putting my lids in the hot water and everything so the rubber will be soft. He puts it in there and then he goes ahead and drops it into the canner. And that is the process that we're doing. So let me get all 7 done and we'll be right back. Alright, so we probably got enough to do about 7 pints now. But we got 7 quarts in there ready to go. So now he's going to go ahead and put the lid on. Put the lid on.
Where's the arrow at?
I don't know where. I think it's this right here is considered the arrow.
Yeah.
So if you ever have you line up this with this and then turns. There we go, and it's lined up. Now you go ahead and take these. I don't think you could do that because now you just move this one up.
Yeah.
I take this one. Unscrew so we go above it. There we go. Screw it down. Screw it down. And then he's going to go ahead and go around. Screw them all. So now we're ready to go. Turn the burner back up to 9, and we wait. We want to wait until we start seeing steam and water coming up out of there, and then once we see it coming up out of there, then we're going to wait a few minutes before we actually put the weight on. So this is the weight that came with it, and I'm going to bring it over into the sun so it's easier to see. Maybe it's easier to see. There we go. So you have 15 pounds, you have 5 pounds, and you have 10 pounds. So it all depends on your area and stuff, what you're going to take it up to. So for you have to, if you look online, you can go to elevation, put in my elevation and do a search on that, and it will take you to some websites that it'll actually tell you and pinpoint you and tell you what your elevation is at where you're at. In our last home, our elevation was at 930, so I was below 1,000, so I would only have to do 10 pounds at 35 minutes. I am now at 1,030, so now I'm above 1,000. So we're still going to do 10 pounds, but instead of 35, we're going to go to 45 minutes. So it really depends on where your area is. I can't tell you what yours is. Most people are under 1,000 feet in elevation. I am just a little above it. I probably could get away with just doing 35 minutes at 10 pounds, but you know what? Just to be safe, I will do the 45 minutes. It's only another 10 minutes. I'd rather play it safe and everything. So I'll be doing 10 pounds at 45 minutes. So what that means is that this is my 10-pound piece, and that's where you put it in, and you just set it on top. So when it comes time to do this, you find your 10, and there's the hole for it, and you just set this right on top, and it just sits there. And then it'll start to jiggle once it hits the 10 pounds, and you'll also end up seeing, if you have an All-American, you have a pressure gauge, you'll see the pressure gauge starting to increase. So I'm going to take this off. I do not want pressure to increase. I need to wait until there is steam coming out of there, and then we'll time it, and we'll go from there. So we'll be right back as soon as steam starts coming out. Alright, I'm back. I was wrong, and I don't want you to get the wrong idea. So for water bath method, which is boiling water method and stuff, anything that you can, and you will sit there and can it to whatever it says to can it at. So if I go to my chicken stock, its recipe, it says at the bottom, process pints for 20 minutes, quarts for 25 minutes at 10 pounds pressure in the pressure canner. So I thought it was 35, but nope, it's 25. So over here on my pressure method, if you're 0 to 1,000 feet in elevation, then you use the 10 pounds. Or if you have a gauge like I also have, you take it to 11 pounds. And you do it for that amount of time that is set in the recipe. 20 minutes for pints, 25 minutes for quarts. But if you're at 1,000 to 1,001 to 2,000, then I need to put it at the 15-pound marker. And again, it's going to be still at the exact same time. So I will be either 20 minutes for pints or 25 minutes for quarts. So that's what I'll do. I'll put it at the 15. We'll go a little bit higher, but I get, it probably would work still at 10 if at 45 minutes because I'm doubling the time. But we'll just stick with this and what it says. So if you're curious of what this is, I just wanted to show you what it's coming from. This is coming from the Ball Blue Book Guide to Preserving. Just so you know, that is coming from a Ball book. All right. Okay, so steam has been rising up out for approximately almost 10 minutes now. And that's what I wanted. It's basically to release, I guess, a lot of the oxygen, or I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe to make sure that your port is cleared. I just know that all the instructions that you read and everything always tell you to do that, and I've always done it. So now it's time to actually put on the weight. So I need to be at 15 pounds for mine. So I'm going to find the 15, which is right there, and that's my hole for it. And you just take it and you put it on. And now you're going to end up seeing the dial is going to start going up. There it goes. It's going up slowly. But it's going to go all the way in at 15, and once it hits 15 pounds, that will start jiggling and allowing, and as if it goes above 15, it's going to steam it off. So the steam's going to escape, and then it'll drop back down and keep it. So that weight will keep it right at 15 pounds the whole time. So now as that's going up, we are going to just sit and wait, and once it starts jiggling, then I start my timer. Remember, 25 minutes for mine because I'm above 1,000 feet. So we are just about ready to hit the 15-pound marker. And I wanted to show you what this is going to do once it hits that 15. It's going to do the same thing for the 10-pound pressure. So as you see, steam starts coming out, and now it starts to jiggle. It has hit 15 pounds at this point. So now we start the timer. So we will set the timer on here. We're going to go for 25 minutes. Alright, well, the timer has gone off. You see it's still jiggling. So now we're going to turn off. Kitchen timer off. And you cannot open this. So I usually there we go. So now we just allow it to cool down on its own. I take it off the burner so it won't be sitting there stewing, and the pressure is now starting to drop little by little. Do not force the pressure to come out. It'll cause your jars to spill out. All the stuff in your jars will come out. So now it's gone below 15 pounds. Our weight has quit jiggling. And we are just below 15 right now. So now it's just a matter of cooling. I let it cool. And that's going to take approximately about a half hour. So as you can see, we are almost at the end. There's only a couple pounds of pressure, and I know at this point it's hard to stay patient and you just want to remove it and let the steam out. But again, let it cool on its own. It does take a little bit of time. Let it cool on its own. Otherwise, you're letting all that cold air in and all that pressure out right away. The stuff in the jars will come boiling right up out. Let it go on its own. I know it's hard to be patient, but we'll be right back when it's done. Alright, well, it has been approximately about 40 minutes since we had pulled it off, and as you can see, it is completely down. So that means that if I use a pot holder, everything's hot. And sure enough, there's no more steam. So now we can... I can't do it. I cut myself. So I'm gonna have to let him unscrew him. Maybe I'll use this hand. I can't even unscrew them. You got them in so tight. Who's talking about? And there we go. Put it on the towel over there so you're not setting it on the counter. And there they are. Why are they all like rusty?
I think it's rust. I think it's cooked on.
Oh, it's probably cooked on stuff. So now we'll take them all out and we will wait to hear them ping. No jars have been broken in the process. But they do look really, really pretty. Isn't that a nice golden yellow? So now we just wait. We will put them on here and we will wait 24 hours and then we will take the bands off and put them in the pantry and they will be done. So that's it. We will see you on the next video. We're going to finish it up and do some pint size and same process. And we'll probably get done just before bedtime tonight. Thanks. Bye-bye.